What is up, guys and gals, and guys? Space Unicorn here, bringing you some hot frag action. Now, what we're going to be doing today, guys, is we're going to be doing you the how to Stella correctly and get the most value out of this card. Reason I say correctly is I might be right now the highest level Stella in the game. I am level 16 already. So, that being said, we're going to get in this video, but before we do, I need you a huge favor. I need you to remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support is genuinely appreciated, and I cannot reach my goal of 10K without you. Here we go.
Zombie apocalypse.
Alrighty, guys, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do 4 different matches. We're going to do one of the Champion Series because I actually have enough cards unlocked to play a match in the Champion Series. We're going to do a Street Frag, a normal match, and Payload, just to kind of show you guys what we're doing. So we're going to go over some basic tips. We're going to go over 5 basic tips for you guys that'll really help you maximize your Stella's potential on the field, and also show you a couple weaknesses that she has and explain to you how to counter them, because she actually does have 3 hard counters in the game, and you have to work around them in order to well, get the most value out of her. So first thing we're going to do is shooting from cover is going to be the first tip that I really want to emphasize with you. Shooting from cover is extremely valuable with this card because of the homing effect being so strong on your character. Whenever you're in complete cover, not taking any damage, that allows you the time to do whatever you want and set up your plan of attack. As you guys will notice, whenever I play Stella, I never issue an attack right away, because the reason being, Stella is not that type of card. Stella is a support slayer. What I mean by that is she is meant to come up behind your push, kill who's ever in front of them, and make sure your push gets through. And that is how you play her. By shooting from cover, you're able to see the whole field. You'll often see me take a position somewhere in the middle of the map in order to maximize my view of the field and see what my opponent is doing in regards to counter my Stella. If he's not countering my Stella, I will win every single time. He has to put emphasis on the Stella. That is my first tip. So shooting from fire, using that manual fire, super important. Now, next thing is along the same lines as this character. So if you're unsure of where your opponent has positioned himself, using the manual fire allows you to expose your opponent's positioning. What I mean by this is whenever I am shooting from a covered position, I am looking for, trying to figure out where my opponent is hiding. Oftentimes an opponent will set up in a certain area where they cannot see you. This is so that they basically get this surprise to you. It's usually whoever gets the first shot in frag wins, especially whenever you're comparing strong cards. So by pre-firing from a weird spot and getting the homing share to track, I am able to determine exactly where my opponent has positioned himself and determine if it's better to fly at my opponent or to disengage entirely and wait for the next push. That is going to be the first 2 tips in how to Stella like a pro. So we're going to move into tip number 3 here once we roll in to the next match. Alrighty, waiting for a Street Fighter match. So the next thing that we're going to go over, guys, is something I spoke about earlier briefly. This is a support slayer. Now you're going to see me take my position mid-map, blind fire, locating all of my opponent's cards, trying to figure out, as you guys saw there, I'm just completely safe from whatever my opponent wants to throw me. I see that he is running a scrapper, and that means that I need to take care of that scrapper for my push to be successful. I just did that by blind firing over the wall in order for the homing effect to take safe. I am now perfectly safe and I'm able to do whatever I want on the offensive end. Right now, my Andro and Lucha have gotten through freely because I have eliminated the threat, thus allowing me to do whatever I want. So that leads into our next tip, support slaying. This card is a really good slayer, and that's something to keep in mind. There's a few really good slayers in the game. This one might be the best. Sorry, Andromeda, I think you may have been dethroned in this particular setting, because it used to be you. But by maximizing your positioning and using that homing effect and knowing when to go for the direct impact plus the 3-star damage hit, you are able to do insane amounts of damage and destroy whatever you so choose, as you guys see right here. Alright, so we're going to roll into another match here, guys, and we'll keep talking. Alrighty, so, as I stated before, slay out with this character, guys. Abuse that slaying ability. The 4th tip that I'm going to give you, use that multiplier. In double times, this character can destroy a tower in 6 shots. That is incredibly fast, and there really isn't a counter for it. Flying at the tower, like with this little ultimate ability, ooh, no, it clipped into the side. By flying at the tower with the ultimate ability, you do 59 damage a shot at level 11, thus allowing you to inflict ridiculous amounts of damage to where no tower really stands up for a long time. So by maximizing that last second mobility push, that endgame push as I call it, you are able to destroy a tower in seconds. This is blot pre-nerf kind of fast, guys. Just keep that in mind. So with that being said, we're going to move into our final match here, a payload match. We're going to give you our 5th and final tip. Alright, so our 5th and final tip, guys, is how to counter your hard counters. You have 3 hard counters in the game. Number 1 is Sojeki-chan. Sojeki-chan's ultimate ability is incredibly pesty as a Stella who thrives on open space fighting. To avoid this, most of the time just play that cover. Sojeki-chan will get you occasionally with her ultimate ability, especially if being played by a real person. This is something you need to understand, that cover is super important. Your next hard counter that you have to face on a regular basis is Hunter. Hunter's ultimate ability will hit you until you hit the height of about 2 stories, or in-game equivalent of so. So if you look at this tower in the middle, it is 2 stories tall. If you are within that 2-story box, Hunter will hit you. Picture a big dome over Hunter's head. Hunter is extremely pesty in this regard. You can also time her ultimate ability to inflict enough damage to actually kill this character. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, the other character that is a hard counter for Stella is actually Stella. Stella versus Stella fights are actually a ton of fun, and if you get really good at engaging them, you can win almost every single time. So what I do, I'm not going to give you all the tricks because this is what I'm going to keep in my back pocket. But I'm going to give you a brief rundown of how you win a Stella versus Stella fight all the time. First of all, you only want to be the one initiating the fight if your opponent's not looking at you. So Stella v Stella fights are determined by who goes in the air. Both players are going to end up in the air, but it's who goes into the air focused on the other one last. So what I mean by that, you'll often see take cover in the middle of the map or in a position that allows me to see what my opponent is doing, and I watch for his character go up. So once he goes up, his homing rocks will come on the first available character. So by being out of line of sight, I am able to not be the character that those first 3 shots hang on to, and then I'm able to go up, go above my opponent, and dive down on top of them. This allows me to 2 to 3 shot her Stella with my Stella with minimum risk to my own. This is an incredibly interesting way to fight, and it is a lot of fun. It's a fresh step for Frag. Now, this card is not going to be nerfed right away, guys. Most of the time, a new card, whenever they come out, they let it run its course. So that being said, you might as well get used to it and start running those Stella counters, or learn how to play Stella and counter Stella with Stella. She is fun, guys. It's just a different feel. You guys know how I feel about OP cards, and while this card is extremely strong and OP in my professional opinion, you do have to understand that it's a different feel style of card. There's nothing quite like this card in Frag right now, and that's why it feels the way it does. It is strong, don't get me wrong, but it's meant to feel different, and it does that quite well. So those are my 5 tips, guys, for how to play Stella at your maximum potential. Positioning and blind firing, feeling out where your opponent is at, running a support Slayer role, maximizing those kills, and running your counters. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want if you have any more tips, leave them in the down there's, and I will gladly talk about them with you. I will see you legends next time. Bye bye, everybody.